Look closely at this perfectly blue, pristine ocean. It looks like an untouched paradise, doesn't it? But what if I told you that this beauty is a terrifying global illusion? Lying just beneath the surface of these waves is a massive synthetic monster. Welcome to the 8th continent. We call it the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. But the word patch is a deadly understatement. This is a 1.6 million square kilometer floating dump. To put that into perspective, it is a toxic wasteland that completely swallows France, Spain, and Germany combined. If this floating graveyard were a recognized city, it would be the 18th largest country on Earth. It is bigger than Iran. It is bigger than Mongolia. And the most horrifying truth of all, there isn't just one. Our planet is currently choking on 5 distinct vortices of death, scattered across the North and South Pacific, the North and South Atlantic, and the unforgiving Indian Ocean. But where does this endless nightmare actually come from? We like to think it is just accidental litter, but the reality is brutal and systematic. 90% of all the plastic suffocating our oceans flows directly from just 10 major rivers across Asia and Africa. Every single minute of every single day, the equivalent of a full heavy commercial garbage truck is dumped directly into the sea, used for 5 minutes by a consumer, toxic for 500 years in the wild. And it is not just household waste. A staggering 46% of this mass consists of massive commercial fishing nets, deliberately cut loose by super trawlers to avoid disposal fees. Profit for the corporations, poison for the planet. This isn't just floating trash. It is a biological annihilation playing out in slow motion. On the remote Midway Atoll, Laysan albatross chicks are starving to death, while their stomachs are completely packed with brightly colored plastic lighters and bottle caps. Beneath the surface, massive abandoned ghost nets drift silently like invisible webs, trapping and drowning hundreds of sharks, dolphins, and critically endangered sea turtles every single week. A sea turtle sees a floating, translucent plastic bag, mistakes it for a jellyfish, and swallows it whole, leading to a slow, agonizing end. But the threat you cannot see is infinitely worse. Welcome to the era of microplastics. The relentless UV rays of the sun, combined with the churning salt water, break these plastics down into billions of microscopic toxic shards. They act like chemical sponges, absorbing deadly toxins like DDT and PCBs up to 1 million times their natural background levels. These glowing toxic beads are then eaten by plankton, the very foundation of the marine food web. The plankton is eaten by small fish. The small fish are eaten by tuna. And finally, the tuna is eaten by us. In 2022, science confirmed our absolute worst fear. Microplastics have been discovered flowing through human blood. They have been found in human hearts, in human brains, and in the placentas of unborn children. You are unknowingly ingesting a credit card's worth of plastic every single week. We are literally eating our own trash. So the ultimate question remains, why don't governments just clean it up? Because the floating horror you see is only 1% of the problem. 70% of all ocean plastic eventually sinks, creating a thick, toxic carpet on the seafloor, reaching even the darkest abysses of the Mariana Trench, 11,000 meters down. Furthermore, if you try to use a net fine enough to sweep up the microplastics, you will simultaneously catch and kill all the plankton, effectively destroying the ocean to save it. Worse still, these garbage patches sit precisely in international waters. It is a legal black hole. There is no jurisdiction and absolutely no responsibility. A true cleanup operation would bankrupt nations, costing hundreds of billions of dollars, and no government on Earth is willing to pay the bill for the high seas. If we do not stop this relentless ecocide, scientists predict that by the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the oceans than fish by weight. The 8th continent is not just a place on a map. It is a mirror reflecting our own destructive greed. This synthetic legacy will outlive you, and it will outlive your grandchildren. The mainstream media refuses to show you this unvarnished truth. Subscribe to Anime Atlas Tour, share this vital warning before it is silenced, and tell us in the comments below, who should be forced to clean up the 8th continent? Wake up before we cross the absolute point of no return.